Coming up on Citrus TV News Live at 6, another terrorist attack, this time in Western Africa. We'll have the latest.
And Mexican immigration has been a topic of debate, but are more immigrants really crossing the U.S. border? A new report says otherwise.
Plus, renovations coming to residence halls here on campus. Our own Rebecca Castor has the details.
Those stories and more. This is Citrus TV News.
From the Citrus TV studios, this is Citrus TV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Monica Hammer.
And I'm Jacob Reynolds. Recent terror incidents could have an impact on the biggest travel times of the year. That's our top story tonight. As we get into the holiday travel season, it's always important to know what your local airport security will be like, especially after the events of recent weeks. I went to Hancock International Airport this week to find out what you can expect when you travel.
Of terror, Paris, Egypt, Beirut, and in the last few days, planes have been diverted in search for potential threats. All of this coincides with the beginning of one of America's busiest times to travel, the holidays. At Syracuse's Hancock International Airport, this is one of its busiest times of the year.
Typically during the holiday season and spring break season, it is our busier season, and so tacking on a few extra minutes to that is never a bad idea.
So in light of recent events, we decided to sit down with one airport employee to ask what you can expect when traveling this holiday season to make sure you and your bags get to where they need to be safely and on time.
In fact, just last year in November and December, the airport had 160,000 outgoing passengers out of nearly 1 million that left the airport the entire year. Malinowski told us that there is a somewhat new focus when it comes to security.
Well, as TSA always says, the threat is real. We're always on the lookout. We're always being vigilant and doing our jobs. With new initiatives coming down from the government, we are looking more closely at employees, but I wouldn't say one is more important than the other. Both are important.
This comes after speculation that an Egyptian airport employee helped bring down the Russian Metrojet plane last month. But even with that, Malinowski says there is not any increase in alerts when it comes to security compared to last holiday season.
We haven't been told that anything has been heightened or increased.
So if you are traveling through Syracuse Hancock International Airport, it might be a good idea to leave a little earlier to deal with the crowds. But for the time being, security checkpoints are not adding anything new to your travel itinerary.
And the airport staff wanted us to remind our viewers that even though it is the holidays and you may be traveling with special gifts or food items, normal FAA regulations against prohibited items still apply.
We activated the locking system so that dispatchers had to go through and independently lock each building on campus. And we came to the conclusion after that it would be so much better if we could move to a one-button system to be able to lock all the buildings from a single screen with a single push.
That was Campus Safety Officer Tony Callisto discussing DPS's plan to implement a one-button lock system for locking all the buildings on campus. Citrus TV's Caroline Strange will have the full story after Thanksgiving break.
President Obama has nominated former Syracuse Congressman Dan Maffei for a job at the Federal Maritime Commission. Pending Senate confirmation, Maffei will become one of 5 commissioners overseeing the regulation of the U.S. International Ocean Transportation System. The Democrat served 2 terms as congressman before losing to Republican John Katko last November. And Syracuse University announced the search committees for the replacement of both the dean of the Maxwell School and the College of Visual and Performing Arts. Both deans have announced that they will step down at the end of this academic year.
It may only be November, but as college students, we're always looking ahead. Rebecca Castor shares why you should consider Haven Hall to be your next home sweet home.
Good news for Haven Hall residents. Renovations are scheduled to begin this summer.
So Haven's lined up for complete renewal of finishes throughout, carpet, paint, even the built-in wardrobes and built-in furniture within the student rooms. And it really hasn't seen that kind of investment in a while. The last renovation was 1995 or so.
While many renovations are scheduled to be done in Haven Hall, it seems like the residents just care about one thing: the bathrooms.
The bathrooms in Haven are so old and they're just so disgusting. If you look up at the water pipes, there are mold just growing on it and like drippy paint stuff. It's just so old and gross that it needs a renovation.
Our bathrooms are old and smelly and gross, and a lot has gone through them through the years.
When the students come back mid-August or late August, it'll be completely ready for them. So we start the day after commencement. We don't waste a moment getting summer going.
While the renovations to Haven Hall are definitely a good thing, it will be interesting to see just how long they take and how resident life is affected. Reporting for Citrus TV News, I'm Rebecca Castor.
And after the break, find out what Ivy League is joining the fight for racial equality on its campus.
And the latest in the fallout in Paris. Don't go away.
Midwestern states such as Kansas are being buried in up to 20 inches of snow, and we here in Syracuse haven't seen anything of the like, which is outside of what we would normally see for this time of the year. Temperatures, though, are around average at 47 degrees. What are your Thanksgiving travel plans going to look like? I'll let you know in just a minute.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
How you doing? My name's Steve. My family's lived in this neighborhood for years. Recently, things got so tight, we had to go to our local food bank for help. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about what the neighbors might think. That is until I saw them there, too. How'd I do, Steve?
A little stiff. You could have done a little better.
What? Come on. You know, I have an Academy Award.
Yeah, but not for playing me.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Temperatures are starting to drop over the next few days.
And our Citrus TV's weather woman, Caroline Strange, has the full weather forecast and what people can expect during their Thanksgiving travels.
Well, Monica, it's even dropping from earlier this evening. Now that the sun set, it's cooled down to about 41 degrees, but with some of those winds coming in from the west at about 11 miles an hour, it's feeling closer to 34, which makes it necessary to grab a jacket before you head out. We are right around our normal range, or we were earlier this afternoon at 47. Unfortunately, not quite as warm as it was back in 1991 with 75 degrees. As we look across the northeast, we're kind of in the middle, a little toward the warmer range because those areas in the west are starting to get snow showers tonight. Although we don't see much precipitation, there is some rain up above the border in Canada, but nothing right now going on in our area. This storm is going to continue to push, and after it goes across the Great Lakes, we will see that starting to affect some areas of New York, but nothing right now. We've got some over some of the lakes already. And tomorrow night or tonight we're going to be 32 degrees, mostly cloudy. Winds are going to be anywhere from 10 to 20 miles an hour, so it's going to make it feel even cooler than that. And tomorrow morning, 50 degrees is going to be our high for the day, a mix of sun and clouds. We're going to see those start to pick up a little bit more throughout the afternoon. Winds are going to pick up, still coming in at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Now looking at the week ahead, we will see those temperatures, like you said, drop down over the weekend as some of that snow comes into our area. We do have a 20% chance and 10% on Monday and Sunday. Tuesday is going to be our best chance to get rain as opposed to some of those snow showers, and temperatures are going to be down below the 30s, below freezing, so we will start to see some of that snow come in. Now Thanksgiving, we will have partly cloudy skies, a high of 51 degrees, no chance of rain, which is going to be nice, so we can have a beautiful day. Winds are going to be at 12 miles an hour, so it's going to make it feel just a little bit cooler, but for those here in Syracuse, it is going to be nice.
All right.
So Caroline, a lot of students are traveling home because we have next week off for Thanksgiving. What are we looking at for travel conditions over the weekend?
Well, there's no delays in the flights. I just checked a few minutes ago. Right now, there's nothing going on. If you are heading west, you might experience some trouble over some of those Midwestern states like Kansas that is getting some more snow, but the highways are clear too.
Alrighty. And now, if you're staying here, what is the weather going to be like on Turkey Day?
It's going to be partly cloudy, right around 50 degrees, and maybe a light jacket. Those winds, again, they're going to stay pretty constant around 10 miles an hour throughout the week, so it'll make it feel a little bit cooler.
All right.
And you know, we haven't had a lot of snow here in Syracuse yet, but you mentioned that lake effect snow. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, as the snowstorm picks up over the lakes, it's going to give us some wet, heavy snow east of Lake Ontario, east of Lake Erie. We might see a little bit that. It might be a little bit north of us too. Kind of depends as that system continues to move, although Chicago will be getting kind of a mix of wet snow a little bit later tonight.
Alrighty. And any idea of what we can expect when we all come back for school?
Not yet. It's a little too early to say. We might see some snow showers. It's starting to get around that time of year. Usually we get about 9 inches of snow, although the range of snow that we get any given year can be anywhere from 60 inches, which is about 5 feet, all the way up to 15. But most of that's in January and February, so hopefully not too much more before our winter break.
Alrighty. Thank you, Caroline. Protest over racial tension at yet another university could lead to some significant changes. Students ended a 32-hour sit-in inside of the president's office shortly after administrators signed a document agreeing to begin conversations addressing racial tension on campus. School officials say this could possibly include the removal of President Woodrow Wilson's name from public spaces.
A new report says more Mexican immigrants are returning back home rather than coming into the U.S. Pew Research says there has been a significant drop in the number of Mexicans crossing the border. By analyzing census data, Pew determined between 2009 and 2015, roughly 1 million Mexicans in America returned home, while less than 900,000 came here. This is the first time the switch has happened since the 1970s. And a convicted Israel spy has been released from prison after serving 30 years behind bars. Jonathan Pollard, a 61-year-old Jewish American, spent nearly half of his life in prison. Pollard acted as a spy for Israel while working at the Naval Ocean Surveillance Information Center.
A hostage incident in Mali earlier today has left at least 21 people dead in the country's capital city of Bamako. Guests staying at a Radisson hotel were held hostage for hours before UN forces went in and escorted them from the hotel. Reports say an American was one of the victims and that 2 Islamic groups, including Al-Qaeda, are taking joint responsibility for the attack. And an update and fallout from the Paris attack. A third body has been recovered from the rubble after the police raid in a Paris suburb on Wednesday. Authorities stormed the apartment in search of attack mastermind Abdelhamid Abayoud, who was killed in the operation. Video evidence has shown Abayoud was riding on the metro while the attacks were happening last week. Also today, reports say the suspected suicide bomber did not detonate the vest herself. Another man at the apartment is believed to have set off the device, killing the woman who was Abayoud's cousin.
The president took a break from formal summit meetings in Malaysia on Friday. Obama took some time to take questions from a group of young people from Malaysia and surrounding countries. He urged his audience to tackle climate change and to resist allowing racial and ethnic differences to dominate political conversations. This is a change from the roughly 51 global summit meetings the president has attended in his 10-day trip throughout Turkey, the Philippines, and Malaysia. North and South Korea have agreed to diplomatic talks in an effort to ease tension following an armed standoff in August. South Korea has offered to hold talks multiple times after both sides agreed to improve relations following that incident. This is the first government meeting since the standoff. The proposed talks are planned for next week at the Truce Village in the militarized zone.
And when we come back, Mark Zuckerberg makes a generous donation.
And I'll bring you all your entertainment news. We'll be right back.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
I've got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does.
And like that, you're a job creator.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. And you get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
American students will soon enjoy faster internet speeds thanks to Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg announced on Thursday that he is donating $20 million to Education Superhighway. The nonprofit is committed to expanding faster internet speeds to public schools throughout America. And Tesla is recalling 90,000 Model S cars for seatbelt problems. That's every Model S ever made. The company discovered a bolt that secures the seatbelt and tightens it and an accident wasn't made properly. No injuries have been reported related to the mistake. And now we'll send it over to Monica for all your entertainment buzz. It's Hammer time.
The long wait for Adele fans is finally over. The British pop singer released her full album today, though it will not be available for streaming. This is the first album Adele has released in 5 years. The former face of Subway has been sentenced to 15 years in prison for child porn and sex crime charges. Jared Fogle was found guilty of traveling to engage in sexual conduct with a minor and receiving child pornography. Fogle will serve at least 13 years before being eligible for parole. Once released, he will have his digital devices monitored and must register as a sex offender. Nathan Lane has tied the knot. Lane officially married longtime partner Devlin Elliott. Lane and Elliott have been dating for 18 years, and the two got married in a small ceremony at City Hall in New York City. In 1999, Lane famously came out just before starting his relationship with Elliott. Known for his role as the voice of Timon in The Lion King, he has recently starred in ABC's hit comedy Modern Family. And that's not the only couple hearing wedding bells. This weekend, Sofia Vergara and Joe Manganiello will be getting married. The duo kicked off the celebration yesterday with a cocktail party on a private beach at the Breakers Palm Beach in Florida. More than 100 hotel rooms and 50 private homes have been reserved for family members and friends, though the guests must leave their phones at the door. And now we've got Jim O'Shea with sports.
Coming up in sports, Q's field hockey is headed back to the national championship, while soccer looks to win an NCAA tournament game for the second year in a row. Football looks to finally win a game, and basketball begins the battle for Atlantis, but not in the Bahamas. Don't change the channel, please.
Staring contest! You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you. There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed our world.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Mark your calendars for October 1st, 2016. Next season, Syracuse football faces Notre Dame as the Orange and Irish again meet in the NFL's home to the Giants and the Jets, MetLife Stadium. Tickets on sale November 18th at the Carrier Dome box office. As a bonus, with any purchase, you'll also receive a free ticket to Syracuse's regular season finale. That's this November 28th versus Boston College in the Carrier Dome.
Jimmy can't sing, and Tommy can't dance, so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, sing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they got ants in their pants, they got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
SU basketball can tie the football team in wins with a win tomorrow. Syracuse faces Elon in the battle for Atlantis. But here's the catch. It's not a battle, and it's not in the Atlantis. The game is in the Dome, and with a win or loss, Syracuse still goes to the Bahamas next week. So, Boeheim, just come out in a Hawaiian shirt and a swimsuit, dude. Just get prepared for the hard week in the Caribbean next week, you know? Anyway, on the court, seniors Michael Benajay and Trevor Cooney have been reliable and not. Both have put up double figures in points in the 2 wins, but their three-point shooting has been shaky. The duo is a combined 10 for 33 from beyond the arc. You can't forget about the freshman. Tyler Lydon hit 2 big threes late in the win over St. Bonaventure on Thursday, and Malachi Richardson is averaging 14.5 points so far this season. The game is the first matchup between the Orange and the Phoenix. Should be a fire matchup. On the gridiron, Hughes hits the road for one final time this season. It's the last chance for the Orange to get an away win this season. SU was 0-4 in 2015 away from the Dome. Besides for the triple overtime loss to Virginia, the other games haven't even been close. The average margin of loss, I may have just made that phrase up, has been 23 points in the last 3 road contests. Oh, and the preseason fifth-string quarterback is starting again for Syracuse. Freshman Eric Dungy is out for the second week in a row with a quote-unquote upper body injury. So sophomore Zach Mahoney will be behind center for his 3rd game this year. In his previous 2 starts, he's completed 42 and 38% of his passes. Now, on the other side of the ball, the defense hasn't allowed less than 37 points in about a month. On the bright side, SU won in Riley 2 years ago. SU field hockey is back in the NCAA tournament semifinals where the Orange faced UConn earlier today. Let's go to the highlights. SU lost to UConn in the national championship last year, so you know the Orange won in this one. SU went up 2-0, but you see right there the penalty stroke goal by UConn to make it 2-1. But Syracuse said, not today, Huskies. You see off the rebound, off of that penalty, and Syracuse gets it and takes it up the turf and passes it up. Emma Russell will eventually get it and dish it off to Alma Rudd, who puts it in the back of the net right there, and SU goes up 3-1, and they win by that same score, and Syracuse advances for the 2nd year in a row to the national championship. They'll take on UNC, number 1 ranked UNC, on Sunday. On the pitch, as the Britons say, unlike this weather, this Cuse is hot right now. SU is coming off its ACC tournament title and will make its 2nd straight NCAA tournament appearance on Sunday. The Orange is the 6th seed, a program best. The game is here in the 3-1-5, where the Orange has lost a grand total of 1 game this season. But Dartmouth is no team to mess around with. The Big Green have 9 shutouts and have allowed .52 goals in 2015. But SU has only been shut out once all year and has scored at least 2 goals in all but 1 home match. So something's got to give. Also, I said the word Britons at the beginning of this, so if you didn't catch that, I got you. In the NBA, the Knicks face the Oklahoma City Russell Westbrooks tonight. Also, you want the smartest prediction ever? Even better than Donald Trump will be the ruler of the world, Kristaps Porzingis will be the NBA MVP this year. At least that's what Knicks fans were thinking at the last home game. The number 4 overall draft pick this year got booed when he got selected in June, and now the fans love him. It's a holiday season, so all is well, I guess. The Thunder will be without Kevin Durant for yet another game, so Melo, don't worry about that defense thing, man. The other basketball team in New York is in Boston tonight. The Nets don't have a single player that averages 20 points per game. Hey, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. On to the National Football League, where the Jets take on the hottest team in the league this Sunday. New York is saddling on up and heading down to the Lone Star State to face the Texans. The other beard in Ryan Fitzpatrick faces his old team. Will James Harden show up, and will they have a beard off? I have no clue. But hey, J.J. Watt will still be there. The reigning Defensive Player of the Year and the Houston defense held the Bengals to 6 points on Monday. So good luck, Fitzmagic. Rex Ryan gets another shot at his favorite team ever. The Bills face the Patriots on Monday Night Football. Buffalo is riding high right now. The Blue and the Red Bills each got a win the last 2 weeks. But Foxborough on Monday night is another story. So Bills equipment team maybe bring the 4th alternate color jerseys. And Eli Manning, like his elderly brother Peyton, has a bye this week.
All right, Jim, so SU football game against NC State tomorrow. Does SU stand a chance?
Long story short, probably not. We haven't won in, since Jake didn't wear a bow tie. So,
right. So
basically
a long time.
Yes,
long time.
It's been
All
a
right.
long time.
All right, thank you, Jim.
And coming up, we'll have one last look at your weather.
Stay with us.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Me parece que ya está listo.
No permita que la salmonela baile en su pollo. Este año, aproximadamente 1 de cada 6 norteamericanos se enfermará por causa de alimentos contaminados. Así que aprenda las temperaturas correctas para cocinar cada tipo de carne. Aprenda cómo mantener a su familia sana en foodsafety.gov.
And now, Caroline, you're back. I have an early flight tomorrow. What should I wear to the airport?
Well, it's going to start down around 40 degrees and then warm up as the day goes on. So grab a jacket. I know I just flew yesterday and the plane was freezing, so make sure you have one anyway.
Alrighty.
And remind us, when are we going to start seeing that snow?
Well, Winter Storm Bella, which is the one that's moving across the Midwest right now, is going to hit us probably late Sunday night. We could see some areas up to an inch of snow, but hopefully not too much.
Okay, not entirely related to weather, but what's your favorite Thanksgiving tradition?
Oh, that's hard. My mom, I miss her cooking because I don't go home for Thanksgiving, but I love her stuffing and also her yams because she does it with marshmallows and pineapple on top, and it's amazing.
Alrighty, Monica, what's your favorite?
My favorite Thanksgiving tradition, I'd have to say we play flag football with my family every year, and that's always a lot of fun. What about you?
Every Thanksgiving morning, we all get up and watch the parade together, and my dad just makes jokes, and my mom and I love it, and it's just a great time every time.
Yeah,
so,
that's pretty great.
Are you thankful for anything in particular this year?
Thankful that I will get to go to a friend's house for Thanksgiving, so I will get some home-cooked food.
Well, there you go.
That's
Alrighty.
enough to be thankful
It'll be
for.
lots of fun.
Hopefully
Happy
it won't
Thanksgiving,
snow.
Caroline.
You too.
All right, thank you, Caroline.
Great. And that's all we have for you tonight. Stay tuned right here on OTN for Q's Countdown and Syracuse Unpeeled after this. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Monica Hammer.
And I'm Jacob Reynolds. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, Syracuse.